Did that say that on the floor a second ago, or did that just appear as I approached?
There's something written in the floor. With blood. Forgotten? Haven't I heard that word in my dreams? What a disturbing mirror. Is it made of black ichor? I feel like it is speaking to me. Oh, heavens.
Surprise! It's actually a perfectly normal, functioning mirror. That's just what you look like now.
My God.
Oh.
Nothing that happens here appears to respect the most basic rules of physics.
The kid just raged for a while.
However, as strange as it may be, it does maintain a peculiar harmony.
Everything's
Like the workings of a clock.
swimming.
Harry, is that you?
Is he dead?
No, 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 no! Tell me this isn't you, Harry. It can't be you. It can't be. No, no. Why did you do it? Oh my God, Harry, no! In the end, you performed the ritual. You poor fool. But why? I don't understand it. Why? You knew it. You knew it wasn't going to work. You knew the ritual wasn't going to work. That's why you never sat on the throne. You didn't even perform the ritual, did you, Harry? But you wanted me to think that you had. You even left a lure to confuse me. But why?
What? Wait, so we're yeah, this is my home, right? From the dreams? Did he drag Cass's body there? Just to pretend that I did that she did why would he pretend to do the ritual? What? I mean, like, Harry must have survived because I was mailed the dagger, right? Why would the guide do that? And there's no one else.
What really happened?
Oh. So this is non-literal. I did not leave. That's what I was thinking. Like, I'm like, I don't think I'm getting back out of that place. Hello, spooky portal.
The only person with you in that sanctuary beach was Cassandra. So if you didn't die, it had to be her.
They're trying to make her so sinister.
Did she use the dagger to open the gates and carry out the ritual? You tried to stop her, but it was too late. She shot you with your own gun and left you for dead, didn't she, Harry?
They're actually hard committing to her being the villain. I thought she was more of a bystander. Her having the sinister evil face in that painting was so cartoonish that I thought it was his delusions.
Because Cassandra was ambitious and would stop at nothing to uncover the secrets here. The island fueled that hunger for knowledge.
Was she a cultist, basically? I mean, she did bring the knife along, which is the most damning thing.
You had doubts about whether the ritual would work. happened to Cassandra cleared up those doubts. The ritual wasn't for people like you.
We can safely assume it's not gendered.
People like me. But you refused to believe it until the island itself spoke directly to you. Haha Folgafen. She is our daughter. That's when you finally understood. You understood what my fate would be if I didn't come here and carry out the ritual. A slow and painful death.
So this was him letting go. He lured me here to do the ritual because it was the only way to save me. And he would have done it too if he could. But he can't.
So you faked your own demise and left your glasses near Cassandra's corpse. Those same glasses you never take off.
You're going like, wow, what a plot twist, but like, these glasses never convinced us for more than a second that it was him. Like, the moment I pick up the glasses, she's like, I know what really happened here. The glasses did the opposite of trick us, apparently.
And you sent me the package from Dignity, Harry. Your picture, the key, the dagger. Another one of your scavenger hunts.
That had to be it, yeah. There was no other survivors that would send me the dagger. It wouldn't make any sense if the guy did it.
You made me come to this island, the same island where you almost lost your mind and your life, the same island where 4 members of your expedition perished. Why did you deceive me, Harry? You said you would never lie to me. Why didn't you tell me the truth? Why did you do this to me?
Because he wants you to live. He did it out of love.
Because you knew that I would never accept my fate if it meant leaving you. Right, my love? Not even if staying with you would mean a slow and painful death. So the only way to get me to leave you was to make me believe you were dead. And you chose to live a life without me, so I could be who I really am. That's why you tried to deceive me. But I know you too well, my dear old pal. We've had so many years together, so many moments of love, happiness, understanding, friendship. A whole beautiful life with you. I know what you tried to do, but I can't let you make this decision for me, Harry. Either I embrace my fate and accept what I've always been, and leave you behind, or I reject it and return home with you to relish the time that my illness gives us. It's my decision to make.
Fuck. I don't even know. Immortality is a pretty strong contender, especially when it's what he wanted. All these people died for. There's a lot of people dying for you to then just go home and nothing changes except for all the people that died. Not that you haven't, although like there's also the question of like what life even would be when it's so strange and different. Like what kind of living is that? Although clearly she has a great time. I don't know. Like I think it's reasonable for me to see it as a thing where you can almost see it as if her illness had already killed her. Like she was so on the brink, thinking she was going to die every day, that it might be time to let go, because she kind of was already He was already on the verge of dying to begin with, so it's like it's kind of like just accepting that she had already died. And this is like her crossing into the afterlife of being a Lovecraftian fish monster, which this game frames as if it's a good thing, even though like it's generally seen as being not so much. Also, we have the power to see both, probably. I am rather curious what happens here.
We had a really good life. But that's not my life anymore, is it, Harry? Not after what I've been through on this island. Not after all I've found out about myself. I can't fool myself anymore. I have to accept what I truly am and leave you behind.
It is pretty funny how completely ineffective his lie was. Not even for a moment did it work.
What a lovely melody. I don't believe I've ever heard more than a few notes. Until now. For years I thought I was sick. But the truth is, I was homesick. My poor health, the pain, the suffering. It was all because of how far I was from here. Everything seems so far away now. No trace of pain, no trace of sickness. Nothing besides this place. It's so pleasant to forget everything else. Nothing matters anymore. I'm finally one of the thousands of minds connected to the Ichor. Connected with the Elder God. Goodbye, Harry.
This would be a fairly horrifying thing, though, to just commit to. Hope it works out. I guess we kind of knew from day one, didn't we, based on the art style? This was always going to be a more positive take on the mythos. There is kind of this feeling that's like, oh, it's just your family, and they're embracing you. And maybe there isn't even that much of a horrifying implication. Except that if you are among the chosen ones or whatever, then you're apparently among the elite. You're apparently among the elite ruling class that sacrificed thousands of slaves, which is like, oh, fuck. Well, that's pretty horrifying. Maybe not so positive. Wait, they actually are like big mechanical fish constructs that look like that? Those weren't just statues that looked like them vaguely. They actually look like that. They're like sentient statues. Oh, does it just end?
Okay, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
1, 2, don't forget the harmony. 1, 2, 3.
All my life is empty since I went away. Skies don't seem to be so clear. May some angel sentry guard you while I stray, and fate be kind to join us some sweet day. Oh, how is mine. Sweetheart, may God bless you. Angel hands caress you, while sweet dreams rest you, dear old pal of mine.
Dearie, I'm so lonely. How I miss your smile and your tender loving way. I just want you only, want you all the while. May God decree I have you back someday. Oh, how I miss you, dear old pal of mine. Each night and day I pray you're always mine. Sweetheart, may God bless you. Angel hands caress you, while sweet dreams rest you, dear old pal of mine. I love you, Norah.
And I love you, Harry.
Even today, so many years later, I still doubt whether I did the right thing. I lied to you for the first and last time. And even if it was to free you from pain, suffering, and death, I deceived you. But I've paid such a high price for my deceit, Norah. Fate has punished me with a long and sorrowful life, with no other incentive than my work. Because that is the only thing I have now, my dear old pal.
Hey, so that was neat. Very pretty game. Some decent puzzles and some just kind of walk around, and if you explore the area, you'll have the combination that solves the area puzzles. And relatively straightforward narrative, but it was still kind of just neat seeing the stages of the party unfolding and the realizations of what happened. Weird execution of the final plot twist, where the plot twist is revealed in the context of her having already figured it out that it was a lie, in before, like, basically before you even have time to register the idea of what the lie was supposed to be. So it's like a little weird feeling there. I'm glad they dodged at least some of the bullets that come with Lovecraft. Like, they had multiple non-white characters in the main party, and there's no real distinction drawn between them except for in the normal way. Like, Frank obviously is separate from the rest of the group in certain ways, but in a historical way. Like, you have his rejection letter and stuff like that like highlights some struggles that he was dealing with in the background, but like the mythos doesn't treat him as other, which was the more troubling aspect of these kinds of stories. Instead, it turns out that the ritual 100% does not work for anyone unless you are a magic moonchild, and there's just one character that semi-arbitrarily is that person and nobody else is, and it's not tied to race or gender or anything else. It's just the fact that she just is literally descended from this stuff, specifically. How that works, why that happens that way is unclear. That is the kind of troubling thing, is that like you still, like, if you think about it for a few layers deeper, like you still have to like question, like, isn't this still a question about like fish people interbreeding? Because like how do like how if it's not a story about mixed races like it was originally, then like how does she exist? Like how is there seemingly, because this and like the way these stories go is it feels like there must be like some sort of ongoing thing, right, where like this happens periodically, just every now and then somebody wanders in and follows the call of the sea and turns into a fish person, which presumably means they're descended from them. But then how were they descended from them, unless they just keep coming in contact with fish people, then going back to normal society, then giving birth to fish people descendants that look completely human but apparently just do this? Unless it's like random destiny, like maybe it's like Link from Legend of Zelda, where it often feels like these all the different Links have nothing to do with each other and are just random people in Hylian society that are essentially marked as being the chosen one, literally in the case of having like the Triforce brand on their hand, at least in some of them. So maybe she just gets marked by the elder sign or whatever the fuck the right thing is. That would be the thing. Like maybe just random people throughout human society every now and then get marked by the call of the sea, and so that's how they become the right person or whatever for this. I don't know. I'm not totally sure what the implications are when you try to divorce them from the original context. That's kind of what a lot of these stories are trying to explore in many cases. They're like, okay, we're like seduced by the iconography and the existential horror, I guess the cosmic horror is what it's called actually, that comes with a lot of these stories. How do we like tap into that because it means something to us, but how do we do that while divorcing it from the troubling context and often reason that these stories were written in the first place, because that sucks in many cases. And so this was an interesting stab at that, I suppose. But yeah, no, it was just a neat, pretty experience to kind of wander through, and it was short enough not to outstay its welcome and get too bored with like lots of slow running around and slowly developing a story. I don't think you want to. And I think the mistake that some of these other games I've played like Sinking City tried to make an open world, multi-dozen hour playthrough out of a Lovecraft story, and it's like, like I haven't like gone through the whole thing, but like I have this Lovecraft tome on my shelf, and it has like, I think it has all of them, like, and they're just not that long of stories, like, and there's a formula to it. There's such a specific formula of like the descent into madness and so on, that like it's too familiar. And so trying to take that really familiar narrative and string it out over dozens of hours, at some point you're just like, like, guys, we get it. Once you've seen it a couple of times, you're like, I know where this is gonna go. I know how it's gonna feel. Like, unless you're gonna get really creative with it, like Bloodborne. It's just it's like waiting for a song to play in slow motion, where like you know how the jingle goes. It's like shave and a haircut, 2 bits, but like they're just singing the song really slowly, and you're like anticipating the next note each time, because like you already know what they're going to say next, so why are they sang it so slowly. That was agony to me. That example was agony to me too. But like that's how it feels sometimes when somebody's telling a Lovecraft story, but they're trying to be coy and like act like we don't already know how it plays out, but also making it go like over the course of like a very, very long game, and you're like, all right, you better do something really interesting with it in the meantime and not just tell a relatively straightforward story. So this game seemed to know that like, okay, we are basically just telling an incredibly straightforward, not that different in any real way, telling of one of the Lovecraft like formulas, and the main twist was the love story element and the decisions made because of the love story. But even then, they just knew like we can't like make this just obnoxious and play and be too cute with like the mystery and whatnot, because like we are doing one of the most recognizable forms of a Lovecraft story possible. So let's not be annoying about it. But yeah, Call of the Sea, neat game. Was not expecting the fucking columnar jointing meme on this channel to fucking hit this kind of like payoff at some point, but here we are. Save scumming powers, activate.
You were right about one thing, Harry. I would never accept my fate if it meant leaving you. I know who I really am and where I belong. I know fate has eternal life in store for me, but an eternal life without you is worthless, meaningless. So I choose the slow and painful death. I'm going back home.
So I guess the ship survived. She didn't doom them. Because there they are. I like how she's waving at someone that definitely can't see her.
You staged this ruse because you love me. But true love is reciprocal. So I'm also making this decision because I love you.
Kind of a flaw in his plan. There was a sign that said Norah back there.
Our love is greater than fate, lineage, or all the pain I can suffer.
But the narrative was designed to look like he had died, so he couldn't have come back to leave a note.
Whatever time we have left, we'll spend together. When the time comes, it will be your hand that holds mine. And those beautiful blue eyes will be the last thing I see before I leave.
I guess the Lovecraft monster only killed the ship when it first awoke? Or reawoke? So many people died so that she could then just be like, nah.
So, you didn't find your husband on that island, Mrs. Everhart?
I did find my husband. He wasn't on the island, though.
But what have you been doing these 3 days, then? What did you find there?
I don't know. The truth about myself, I suppose. And at the same time, the reason to go back home.
I don't think I follow you, ma'am.
Have you ever been in love, Captain Hodgson?
In love? You mean like in a romance novel?
No, that's fiction, Captain. In real life, true love stories don't end with a wedding. They end with a funeral. And the only thing that eases that final moment of heartbreaking sadness are all the good memories lived together.
Honestly, I don't think I've ever felt anything like that, Mrs. Everhart. But if you love your husband that much, he's certainly a lucky man.
We are both lucky.
He's gonna live with the guilt for the rest of his life, though, of how many people died for a thing that you just ultimately rejected anyway. Because he can't assign it to the narrative that it was all for something.
You're always mine, sweetheart, may God bless you. Honey, are you all right?
I'm fine, Harry, don't worry. I can keep going.
No, listen, let's leave it for today. You shouldn't make any unnecessary efforts.
Really, darling, I'm fine.
You need to rest, Norah. Come on, I'll take you to bed.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Even today, so many years later, I still doubt whether I did the right thing. In the end, it didn't matter. You returned home and forgave my deception. We moved close to the sea and had a few more good years, didn't we? Until you left me at one sunny March morning. I wish I could be reunited with you. But fate has punished me with a long and sorrowful life, with no other incentive than my work. Because that is the only thing I have now, my dear old pal.
It's a little clunkier and weirder in that outcome. Like, I still wonder if I did the right thing. It's like, well, no, I guess not. You got a bunch of people killed trying to give immortality to someone who refused to take it, and so it was all for nothing, essentially. And you gotta remember, we're not even just talking about the people on the expedition, like the 4 people or so that died. Everyone on that ship died because they fucked with the ruins. They did the thing with the ruins, and that made the monster awaken or whatever and kill everybody. They clarified that it happened at the same moment, so that was caused by them. So many people died. Everyone on that entire boat, that's the shipwreck. Oh god.